Well, it's us against the world. The CFP committee, so for those of you that's been under a rock for the last 24 hours, the CFP committee drops Georgia 9 spots from number 3 all the way down to number 12. And you know what that means. When you're in the 12th spot, you're the odd man looking out. You are the one that's going to be left out. Because that 12th spot is guaranteed to a P5 highest ranked conference champion. So what does that tell us going into the most important football game in the history of Sanford Stadium? It's us against the world. It's UGA against the world. It's Kirby Smart against the world. Kirby Smart, when you are on the way home from practice today, if you're listening, when you're on the way home from practice today, you're a 90s kid. You grew up in the 90s. You went to college in the 90s. So you were very familiar with the late, great rapper Tupac Shakur. Take an old Tupac CD, pop it in. Me Against the World. Because that's what this is all about. It's UGA against the world. How do we deal with that? Just win, baby. Just win. That's basically what it comes down to. Just win Saturday. Get your popcorn ready. This is the Dawg Call. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Dawg Call. This is a special Wednesday edition reaction to the playoff committee's college football rankings last night, which we all saw that what the committee did some questionable. And us being dropped to number 12 is not the only thing in the rankings that jumped out at me. It was a lot of other things that jumped out at me as well. There, all of a sudden, newfound love for the Big Ten was very compelling. I can imagine what's going through Greg Sankey's head right now at the moment. I think this will definitely give pause to Greg Sankey and the SEC about the idea of going to a 9-game schedule. I think Greg Sankey and the boys are going to pump their brakes on that, because it's obvious with the Big Ten, by the way they're scheduling things, it's obvious what they're doing. They're scheduling mediocre out of conference games. And the top tier teams are not playing each other. They may have scheduling one marquee matchup per season. Where you got Oregon and Oregon State, they played each other. But Oregon is not playing Penn State, and Oregon is not playing Indiana. Okay, so you got a situation where Indiana looks at their schedule, and the only we knew Michigan was going to fall off. We knew Michigan, even if Michigan would have been Michigan, that's only 2 losses. So Indiana still had a strong possibility of going 10-2 on the season because that schedule was just weak. The same could be said for Penn State. You don't schedule Michigan. You don't schedule Oregon. All right. You got Ohio State. Okay, so you can afford 1 loss. Everybody knows 1 loss is not going to keep you out of the college football playoffs. So it's obvious what the Big Ten is doing. They're making damn sure that they get at least 3, maybe 4 teams into the playoffs each year. Because they're scheduling teams, the good teams, around each other. Maybe having them meet up once, but not a situation like what Bama and Georgia had to deal with this year, where Bama had to play LSU, Tennessee, and Georgia. Georgia had to play Texas, Tennessee, and Ole Miss. Bama, Texas, Tennessee, Ole Miss. 4 teams. 4 teams. And all 4 of these teams are potential playoff teams. Where Ohio State only played 2 potential playoff teams. Oregon only played 2 potential playoff teams, and that was by default Boise State and Ohio State. Indiana only playing 1 potential playoff team, and that would be Ohio State. Penn State only playing 1 potential playoff team, and that would be Ohio State. So I say that to say this, Georgia, you can't put your fate in the hands of this committee. It's obvious that this committee is full of cow manure. It really is. This committee does not give a damn. They value losses over wins. Penn State is ranked higher than Georgia, and their best win is against Illinois, barely beating Illinois. Georgia's 2 best wins are against Clemson, which Clemson could potentially be the ACC champion, and Texas, which right now currently Texas is tied for first in the SEC and ranked number 3 in the nation. Penn State lost to Ohio State at home. And that score really should not have been as close as the game wasn't really as close as the score says. And because Penn State's one touchdown was a pick 6. And Ohio State fumbled the ball at the goal line, which that game could have easily been a blowout because Ohio State dominated the game. So I say that to say this, Georgia, going into Saturday night, you know exactly what you got to do. You know exactly what you got to do. Win and you're in. Don't put your, and I'm saying, and I'm not, and this doesn't just go for this year. Moving forward, even after this year, next year and the years after that, don't put your fate in the hands of the committee. Because it's obvious that this committee is not SEC friendly. You got Bama. You have. Let's just take a look at the brackets. I want to show you all something here. Just take a look at the brackets here, everyone. So let me give me a quick second here. Let me shrink down the logo here. So you have. This is the bracket. This is the bracket that they presented last night. So this is what the committee is telling us, that Indiana is the 7th best ranked team in the nation. All right. They're saying that Indiana should be ranked higher. That Indiana should be ranked higher than Bama. Okay. They're saying that BYU should be ranked higher than Bama. But there's nothing about this that you can tell me that says that these are the best teams. That you want the best teams in the playoffs. I'm just putting this out right here, and I know we're missing Ole Miss. Hold on. Let me. I'm gonna have to take down the. I'm gonna have to take down the banners here. So basically, what we're saying is that, and it's crazy. So you're saying Penn State is better than Ole Miss, which we all know that is a pure joke. And I don't give a damn if the game was in Happy Valley. There's no doubt in my mind Ole Miss would beat Penn State by 2 or more touchdowns. Penn State offense is mediocre. They would not be able to score or keep up with Ole Miss, and Ole Miss's defense would destroy that Penn State offensive line. And if Ole Miss and Penn State played, and even if the game was up there in Happy Valley, Vegas would have Ole Miss favored by 2 touchdowns. Same thing with Bama and Indiana. Yeah, Indiana has an explosive offense, but against who? Who have they beaten? They struggled with a terrible Michigan team. This is one of the worst Michigan teams I've seen in over 10 years. And Indiana struggled with them last Saturday. If Bama and Indiana, if they were scheduled to play this Saturday, Bama would be a 2 or more touchdown favorite. 2 or more touchdown favorite against Indiana. BYU, that's a joke. A joke. They barely beat Utah last Saturday. If BYU was in the SEC, they would have 4, maybe 5 losses. They would be in the bottom tier of the SEC. If Indiana was in the SEC, they would have 3 or 4 losses. If Penn State was in the SEC, they would have at least 3 losses. 3. This is a joke. But we know it's a joke. We know. We saw this coming. This is nothing to be upset about. This is nothing to even complain about. Why are we even surprised? Why are we even surprised? We know this is not the first time that the committee has screwed over Georgia. This is not the first time. Do you remember 2018? When everybody knew we were clearly the better team than Oklahoma. And they screwed Georgia over. They put Oklahoma in and left Georgia out. The excuse was deserving. Oklahoma was more deserving. But when the committee was first created in 2014, one of the main rules were you were putting the 4 best teams in. But for that 1 year and that 1 year only, it went from the four best teams to the four most deserving teams. And let's not forget about last year. Let's not forget about last year. We had an undefeated streak, regular season streak going. Yeah, we lost in the SEC championship game. We lost by a field goal. We lost by a field goal in the SEC championship game, but we had what, a 2-year regular season winning streak? I'm sorry, 3-year. 3-year regular season winning streak. 2-time defending national champion. And we didn't even get a chance to defend our crown in the college football playoffs because the committee once again felt like we were not deserving. Even though most experts would say we were one of the four best teams. But we weren't the four best, we weren't the four most deserving team. This committee is inconsistent. This is not new. This is not new news. This is nothing that anyone should be surprised about. And I say that to say this. It's us against the world. It's the dogs against the world. Now, reports have come out that Nico is not playing Saturday. I'm very surprised about that. But how many times have we been in situations where the starter wasn't able to play and we had to go up against the backup? Remember Tua? Do you remember Jalen Hurts? Do you remember 2019, South Carolina? We was playing against a third string quarterback and we lost that game. Ole Miss's backup, in my opinion, I think the outcome would have been just the same. Now, I don't really know who Tennessee's backup quarterback is, but I can guarantee you one thing. Heupel is going to have him ready. And playing behind that old line, I think whoever the backup is, I think that he's going to bring it. I say that to say this. Dylan Sampson. That man is already at over 1,200 yards rushing this season. He is the leading rusher in the SEC. He's first in every category when it comes to rushing. Yards per carry, rushing yards, touchdown rushing touchdowns. He's number one all across the board. We are one of the lowest ranked rushing teams in the SEC. But we gotta figure out a way to get it done Saturday. We have to figure out a way to get it done Saturday. Because all this whining and crying about the committee, it's not going to get anything done. It's not going to matter. What's going to matter is us taking care of business Saturday night. We take care of business Saturday night, we will be 9 times out of 10. I see them swapping Georgia and Tennessee out. I see if Georgia beats Tennessee, I see us moving up to that number 8 spot and hosting a playoff game against Notre Dame. Everything is in front of us, ladies and gentlemen. Everything is in front of us. But we have to take care of business. We have to stand on business Saturday night, which means we need to play 60 minutes of football. Because this Tennessee team, if you thought that Ole Miss defense was tough, you ain't seen nothing yet. That Tennessee pass rush is lethal. Ask Jalen Milroe. They were able to do something to Jalen Miro that we couldn't do. Even in the second half, Jalen Miro was still moving the ball. The play calling, I don't know what the hell Kalen DeBoer was doing in the second half, but the play calling switched up. But Tennessee was shutting him down from start to finish. Blitz packages. And those DBs for Tennessee are no joke. Carson Beck is going to have to play the game of his life Saturday night. There's going to be tremendous pressure. Now, listen, I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. There's going to be pressure on Carson Beck Saturday night because it's at home. It's in Sanford Stadium. I pity if he goes out there and goes to throwing interceptions. You all know how that crowd in Sanford Stadium can be. Remember the 2019 Kentucky game? When the team was going off the field, getting ready to go into halftime, and they booed Jake Fromm, and they booed James Coley. That can be what Sanford Stadium turns into Saturday night. So Kirby Smart and Brandon Adams, you asking for the crowd to come bring their A game, that won't be a problem. You don't even have to ask for that. Because that crowd, when it's time to show up, the Dog fans show up. Remember the Arkansas's game. Game day was there, 12 noon. Georgia fans were there in droves, standing room only. They showed up and that place was loud. Same year, the Kentucky game. Fans showed up and was loud. Undefeated Kentucky team came into Athens. Fans showed up and were loud. 2022, Tennessee game. Fans showed up and were loud and made an impact. So the fans are going to do their job. The question is the team going to do their job? Are the coaches going to do their job? And that includes you too, Kirby. Kirby, I love you. You're the GOAT. Right now, you're the great. On paper, and at the rate that you're winning games, you're the greatest coach that UGA has ever had. At the rate and the pace that you're going. Right now, you already have more national titles than Vince Dooley. You have more national titles than Mark Richt. And those were considered two of the greatest coaches in UGA history. And you have something that the both of them don't have. You have two back-to-back national titles. But this right here, tonight, Saturday night, this is something different. This is a de facto playoff game in Athens. This is a playoff game to get into the playoffs. Playoff atmosphere, Saturday night. With our arch rival, Tennessee, coming into town. It shouldn't be no reason why these players should not be up for this game. There shouldn't be no reason. Kirby, this is a team that you hated when you was in college. This was a team that was a thorn in your side. This was a team that you couldn't beat. I think you only beat them, one time in college? This team was a problem when you was playing. Now you the coach. You the head coach. You only lost to them one time, and that was your rookie season. Your first season as the head coach. Ever since then, you've owned this team. Well, come Saturday night, you have to own them. Once again, you have to own them. Because this one Saturday night, it means more than the rest. I hate to say it. It means more than the rest. You could have lost that game in 2022 and still won the SEC championship. and the national title, in my opinion. There wouldn't have been nothing that would have stopped Georgia from winning a national title, even with a loss to Tennessee that year. This year, different. A loss wipes out the entire season. A loss and it's over. The season is over. Yeah, we play UMass and Georgia Tech, just to get the 9 wins. But the season will technically be over if we look up at that score and Tennessee has more points than Georgia. So I say that to say this: damn the coaches poll, damn the AP, damn the college football playoff committee's poll. It comes down to Saturday night. Hell, they could have left us at number 3 or put us at number 8 and had Tennessee at number. It still wouldn't make a damn difference. It wouldn't change anything about the scenario that we're facing Saturday night, and that is an elimination game in between the hedges. So I say that to say this: bring your A game. Stop crying about the committee rankings. That ain't gonna help Saturday night. Stop crying about the college football rankings. Just win, baby. Just win. And on that note, I do this every Wednesday. Normally I do this on Tuesday, but I'm going to start doing this on Wednesdays. Got another inductee into the DAWG house. And this individual, and it was close. It was close. The kid, a lot of people were saying, you got to put Pope in there. You got to put Pope in there. He was celebrating on the field with a friend. Okay, so a friend he hasn't seen in what? Months. A friend that grew up with him, and they was excited to see each other. Got caught up in the moment. And I think it was a little over the top to call that kid an idiot, especially when you had real idiots to do idiot crap during the off season, and you didn't get in front of no camera and call them no idiot. You didn't get in front of the camera and call rah-rah idiot. You didn't get in front of the camera and call ETN an idiot for drunk driving. You didn't call rah-rah idiot for putting his hands on that girl. Come on now. But the biggest idiot to me on Saturday night, if you want to talk about idiots, and the biggest slap in the face to Georgia fans, to me, was this week's inductee, once again, for the 3rd time this season, Carson Beck. Welcome to the DAWG house once again. I don't see a damn thing funny about getting your ass whipped. And at that time, ladies and gentlemen, this would make so bad. At this time that he was over there grinning like a silly Billy, it was 22-10. That ain't even what the final score was. You over there laughing. Now the damn thing is funny. And y'all can miss me with all of this notion about Jaden Rashada was telling him a joke. Jaden Rashada was not smiling in the picture. The only person that was smiling was Carson Beck's silly ass. And this is not the first time that he's done this. He did it after each of the 3 interceptions that he threw to Florida. When he was throwing the ball right to the Florida players, he would laugh. He would come off the field and laugh. What the hell is funny about you out there screwing up, throwing the damn ball to the other team? When you got your teammates out there, blood, sweat, and tears, damn near putting their lives on the line, trying to win a football game, putting their livelihoods on the line. And as if all you know, hey, football is on any given play. Your career could come to an end, an abrupt end on any given play. So I don't see a damn thing funny about you sitting your ass over there on the sideline in the middle of a blowout loss. Carson Beck, for that reason, and for that reason only, you are the idiot. If Pope is an idiot, you are an even bigger idiot than Pope. There is nothing funny about getting your ass handed to you live on national TV in front of everybody when you coming into this season were a fifth-year senior, the number one ranked quarterback in the nation, Heisman favored, and on Mel Kiper and Todd McShay's board as the first quarterback to come off the draft boards. You, sir, this week, November the 13th, 2024, you are in the doghouse. And on that note, I want to thank all of you for coming out and joining us on the Dog Hall. And like I always say, it's just like this. The committee can say what they want to say. They can do what they want to do. But at the end of the day, it is up to our Georgia Bulldogs to stand on business and go out there and show the world who they are. And remind the Tennessee Volunteers of who they are. And at the end of the day, we are the Georgia Bulldogs. We are that team. We are that team that you don't want to come into our backyard when our backs are against the wall, when everyone is doubting us and the committee is disrespecting us. And we need this game, which will be our last SEC game, the SEC season finale game. This is the game that is going to decide our fate of whether or not we go into the playoffs. Nico or no Nico, Dylan Sampson or no Dylan Sampson, Squirrel White, I don't give a damn. You could go get Peerless Price. You could go get Peyton Manning. It don't matter. Josh Dobbs. It don't matter. Because come Saturday, this team, in my opinion, is going to stand on business. It's going to they're going to remind the whole world of who they are. We are the Georgia Bulldogs. You all hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. Share this video and make sure you subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell so you can get the notifications of all this great content. And I'm going to leave you on this note. At the end of the day, who's that coming down the tracks? It's the mean machine that wear red and black. Ain't nothing finer in the land than a bunch of natty-seeking Georgia fans. Go Dogs! Go Dogs for life! Sick 'em! Woo, 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 woo. To my dogs, shut them up. Them Tennessee fans, these Tennessee podcasters, I see you. Jalen Walker, shut them up. Mikal Williams, shut them up. Stackhouse, shut them up. Starks, shut them up. Dylan Everett, shut them up. Raylan Wilson, shut them up. CJ Allen, shut them up. Dirty Dan, shut them up. ETN, show them who you are. Arian Smith, keep shining, brother. Show them who you are. Dylan Bell, it's time to stand on business, bro. It's time to step up. It's time for you to show them who you are. We know you got that dog in you because you showed it last year. Show them who you are. Dominique Lovett, this is your time, young man. This is your time. Oscar Depp, it's time to gain your respect, young man. Show them who you are. Carson Beck. This game Saturday night is why you decided to come back for your 5th season. You could have easily went into the NFL, but this is the moment. You may not win a Heisman, but this right here, this game, everybody's going to be watching you. The NFL scouts, everybody's going to be watching you. This is the game where you got to be the Carson Beck, the old Carson Beck that we saw last season. That man has been MIA all season. It's time for you to get off of the back of that milk carton and show up in Sanford Stadium and bring that dog out of you that we know that's in you. We saw it in the second half of that Tide game. We needed for 60 minutes against Tennessee. Damn what that committee says. Who gives a damn what that committee says? Saturday night, just win, baby. Just win. Go Dogs. Now take care of yourselves and each other. I'm Armando Black, and this has been the Dog Call. Love you all. Peace and blessings. Enjoy your day. This is total disrespect. Utter disrespect. Dogs, remind them of who you are. Remind them of who you are. Everyone enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm Armando Black, and this has been the Dog Call. Take care of yourselves and each other. And like I always say, no matter what the outcome is on Saturday night, it's always and forever. Go!